Okay, hello, my name is Jake Berry, and I did my final project on the Icecream little install for Python. So this is a pretty handy little app, or package I should say, for helping with some common debugging problems in Python, excuse me. So the main objective with Icecream is to reduce the number of print tests that somebody needs to do when they're attempting to test or debug their code. So I have a few examples here that I'll go ahead and run, and I'm going to link this uh, Colab notebook as well so people can kind of follow along if they want to. Well, I guess I should start with how to install it. So pretty simple. Basically, you're just going to type in this command here, which I will highlight, maybe, and it will go ahead and install the Python Icecream package onto your computer. And then once it is installed, then you can use it to begin helping with your debugging troubles. So to enable it, you need to go ahead and type in this command and make sure that it is enabled with this command here. So once it is enabled, you're going to be able to do a couple of different things with it, and I'm going to only talk about some of the more basic uses for Icecream, but there are quite a few different, more advanced things that you can do with Icecream as well. So let's imagine a scenario here where we have a very complicated programming code here. A equals 2 and B equals 3. Whoops, as I delete all sorts of random stuff. So we have our command here to print A plus B. So this is going to show the sum of A and B in a print statement. Now, if we use Icecream in place of print, it's going to show a little bit extra information, which you can see down here. So this is actually going to give us this prompt that Icecream has run, and then it's going to tell us what it actually did. So we wanted it to add A and B, so it's actually going to say that in the print statement, and then give us our total, which is 5 here. So this is just a way to add more information into your print commands, which is quite helpful, especially when debugging, because as we'll see with some of the other examples here, things can get a little bit more complicated and a little bit harder to keep track of where things are going. So let's take a look at this example here. So what we're doing here, we're going to import random, and then we're going to set our min equal to 100 and our max equal to 200. Then we're going to set up the mean number. We're going to take a sample size of 10, and then we're going to create two lists, below or at mean and above mean. And by the way, I should point out that this example is taken from the YouTube video, which is linked right here. So if you want to check that out, he does a really good job of explaining some of the basics of Icecream as well. So we're going to go ahead and work through our function here. So we can generate this without using Icecream, which we're going to use this print command. And we have to actually use a print command and then write in our num, which is going to give us our first random generated number, right? And then in our loop here, if the num is less than or equal to the mean, then we're going to print 1, and if it is anything else, we're going to print 2. So this is greater than the mean, so it prints 2. Oops. So typically you wouldn't necessarily want this in here, or there might be a situation, I should say, there might be a situation where you wouldn't want this print command and this print command and this print command in your code because it kind of clutters things up. It makes this kind of cluttered. So you might want to just double check that what you expect to be happening in your if and else loops is actually happening. So in order to do that, we can use this exact same example, but we're going to put it in an ice cream sandwich. So note the difference in this line here. I'm going to give you a second to look at that, and then we'll scroll up and look at this line. So you've essentially placed IC in front of this entire thing. Then there are a couple other differences. There's no print command here, it's just IC, and then the rest of it's basically the same. Now this, as you can see when we run this, gives you a lot more information, which can be extremely helpful in determining whether or not the code is running the way you want it to. So for instance, let's imagine a scenario where we had nested loops and lots of nested loops. So if you wanted to find out when things were executing, Icecream will actually give you that information. So this is going to tell you that the first random number is 104, and then it's going to tell you that this is going back to 14, line 14 right here, which means that 104 is less than or equal to the mean. And then it's going to tell you, after you found that information out, it's going to tell you that it's re-entering the top of this for loop here. So essentially, this information and this information tells you that we've started this loop, we've gone to here, and this was true. So now we went back to the start of the for loop. And then the other information is that it gives you the time that this was executed, which again could be quite helpful. So let's go ahead and take another look here. Oh, let's look at this here. So a lot more information is provided the programmer when using Icecream. It shows which operations are being performed, shows the values of the ran int generated, shows which if-else branch was used, indicated by the line number, which was what I was talking about with this and then this, and then shows when the for loop iterates. Oh, this is the for loop, the 10 here, and then shows when the task was executed. So technically you could do all this with print statements, but it would be an enormous amount of work, and if you don't want this information in your final program that's going to be your production program, then Icecream is incredibly handy, because while you are working on this, you can actually enable and disable Icecream, which will take all of this extra stuff out, and it will just execute the main code. So anything that says Icecream or IC will be disabled when you run IC.disable parentheses. So I believe I have an example of that down here. And also these work with functions. They do work with libraries. They do work with lists. So again, this is just another example of all the different information that's provided by Icecream. So you have telling you exactly where this 5 came from. You're not just getting a 5 spit out like you would if you just hit print. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and disable. So IC.disable. And then let's go ahead and run this. And you'll see right now, before I run it, that it has the Icecream enabled. and we have this additional information. And of course my internet is being very slow. Apparently I have an error here. Was I not supposed to have that? Oh, well, hold please. Let me pause this recording. Okay, I think I have that figured out. I didn't actually have Icecream installed on this computer since I transferred this over through Colab. Where were we? Down here. So, again, back to the ic.disable here. So we'll go ahead and run that again, and it's still not defined. Oops. Alright, well, hold please. Okay, we are back for a third and final time, and I did actually figure it out this time. So I didn't have Icecream installed, and then I didn't actually run this line of code. So I had to run both the install and this line of code right here to get Icecream working on this computer, because I brought this over from a different computer. Now let's go ahead and go down here, and as you can see, I've ran this program again with IC disabled, and now instead of all that extra additional information that we were looking at before, we have simply the 5, which was the same as this here. Now the reason this is important is if you want to see how your code is going to be running at the production level, which would be like how you're going to, I guess, ship the code, you can just disable Icecream, and then anything where Icecream is used in your code will not print, and it will not show up at all. So very, very handy tool. Doesn't necessarily replace debugging, but it definitely expedites the process quite a lot. And then this is just another similar example to the previous one, except that it has more elif statements. And this even isn't the greatest example. You could have loops and nested loops going crazy, which would make it incredibly difficult to find where your issues are. So being able to read this code and see, what line is being executed at what time is very helpful for determining whether or not your code is doing what you expect it to do. And again, this is by no means a comprehensive list of everything that Icecream can do, but this I felt was the most useful to a beginner coder. It's something that I will be attempting to use in the future and learn more as I progress. Anyways, thank you so much. That is my presentation, and have a great day.